And today's Let's Play video, I'll be doing it on a UN Squadron. It was also known as Area 88. This was an arcade side-scrolling shooter game released in August of 1989 by Capcom. The game was developed by Capcom, and it was published by Capcom in the arcades as well. So you could play three characters. Greg Gates, he flies an A-10. He specializes in ground attack. Mickey Simmons, who is a F-14 pilot. He specializes in forward firepower, I think. And you have Shin Kazuma. He's the main character of Area 88 or UN Squadron, and he is good with every weapon, basically. Playing Shin Kazuma. In this game, you could buy weapons like this. Right now, I only have enough money to buy bullpups. This game was based on Area 88, which was a comic series in Japan. And the comic series were released from 1979 to 1986, and they were about 23 volumes. It was also made into a manga anime show, television, actually it's called original video animation. And this was released from February 5th of 1985 to August 15th of 1986. That's what this game is based on. For people who played this game in the States, they would have never known that. This is a pretty action-packed game. It's very simple. There's two buttons. One for shooting your main weapon, and the second button for shooting your special weapons. Like in my case, it's Bullpup 2. And you have the joystick for moving around. And the start button, of course. This game was released on a number of home computers, like the Atari ST, Commodore Amiga series, Commodore 64, Amstrad CPC computer, and the ZX Spectrum computer. I think the only video game console this game was released on was the Super Nintendo. That game was probably the best version of UN Squadron in terms of graphics and gameplay. I did play the Amiga version of UN Squadron. It wasn't very good at all. It was published by US Gold for computers, and for the Nintendo it was published by Capcom and Nintendo. Good thing about this game is you can continue where you died off. The story for the anime series and this game are totally different. Not the same at all. The difficulty for this game wasn't too bad. I guess it was average. This was a two-player game. You could play with another person. For the Super Nintendo version, you could pick the missions, but in the arcade version, the missions were just in sequence, so that was the only difference. And the Super Nintendo version had more than 2 buttons. So there's another button to select weapons as well. You could have more than just one special weapon in the Super Nintendo version. And for some reason, Nintendo always made their version of the arcade version a little bit different from the arcade. They always added a twist to their port for some reason. And you would notice that if you played the arcade ports for any Nintendo game. Air mines, huh? It's odd. This game did get me interested in the Area 88 or UN Squadron media. I never read the comics for Area 88, but I did watch the OVA animations for Area 88 back in the 1990s. And the way I discovered that was I saw a copy of Area 88 for sale at Tower Records back in 1993. It was on VHS tape. I never bought it, but I did go to Blockbuster Video and rent VHS tapes for Area 88 and did watch them. And there were 3 episodes. I saw the first and second one. I didn't see the third one until later. The third episode I saw later, maybe around 2002 or something. I think I bought it on DVD. And then they also had a television series for Area 88. And that was released around 2004, January 8th to March 25th of 2004. And there were about 12 episodes for that. The ending for the animation was pretty sad. Pretty different from the ending of this game. And I'll play this game through today and show it to you. It wasn't anything like the anime's ending. So for the enemy bosses, there's always a pattern to defeating them. For this enemy boss, you just stay low. Whoops. Stay low, like right there. You could avoid getting hit. You could take out the aircraft elevator, and then you stay right here. Shoot that. Drop some bombs on it first. And then shoot it again. Not a terribly difficult boss to beat. Difficulty is pretty reasonable, unlike some arcade games where you couldn't avoid getting hit at all. I did play this game a lot back in 1989 and 1990. Did want it for the Super Nintendo, but the game cost $59 for the SNES. It's quite a lot of money at the time, so I just went to Blockbuster and rented it over the weekend a lot of the times. So in the actual story of the movie, or the animation series, this character that I'm playing right now, Shin Kazuma, was tricked into joining the Aslan Air Force. And the nation that you're in this game is Aslan. It's actually a kingdom or something in the Middle East. In this game they call it Kotar or something? Qatar? Kotar? But in the anime series, it's called Aslan. So you're flying for a mercenary air force, and you were tricked into it by your best friend, who was named Kanzaki. And in the anime series, Kazuma was working for Yamato Airlines or something. The reason why his friend betrayed him was because they had a crush on the same girl, so his friend tried to get rid of him, and he did when he was at a bar in Paris. Was drunk and got him to sign some document, and he got drafted into the Aslan Foreign Legion. You should watch the anime series. It was pretty, I would say it was pretty good. Another quarter. I think they sell DVDs for the original video of animation, or OVA, for Area 88. I think you could buy it on Amazon. Ooh, I got a force field. The gameplay for the arcade version is quite good. It's very, very responsive. And the Nintendo version also, or the SNES or Super Famicom version, was also good. Never played the Super Famicom version. I think the only difference between that and the SNES version was that the Super Famicom version was in Japanese. This is a fairly easy boss. Okay, that's it. Didn't even lose a life. I don't know why they call this game UN Squadron. It doesn't have anything to do with the United Nations or anything like that. Area 88 is basically an airfield for mercenary pilots in the kingdom of Aslan. That's what Area 88 implies. UN? This has nothing to do with peacekeeping. They're pilots that get paid money by government. So these guys are mercenaries, basically. If you didn't know the background of the story for this game, you would assume that it's UN, like United Nations or something like that, but it's actually not. I think those are Harriers, the small aircraft. The big aircraft are B-52s. In the anime series, there were no B-52s. I don't think that those aircraft even existed. But there were Harriers in episode 3. And there were MiG-21s. There were MiG-23s. I didn't see any MiG-29s. For this enemy boss, you take out the two aircraft that are escorting it. I think these are, I don't know, B-1 bombers, I think. Those are. I think that's a Galaxy cargo aircraft or something. I'm not sure. It looks like a cargo aircraft. In reality, aircraft like that can't take 30 radar-guided heat-seeking missiles. Maybe it could take 1 or 2, but not 30. But after all, this is just a video game, so... Ooh, I got the best. I think this is a battleship level. The theme of this game is very 1970-ish. Also for the OVA animation and the TV series. The Harrier, the MiG-21, the MiG-23. This aircraft that Shin is flying. I think it's a F-5 or something, or a F-20 Tiger Shark. Yeah, it's based on a F-5. That's a very 1970s aircraft. When you watch an animation series, you would know that it's set in the 1970s and early 1980s. by looking at the people's clothing and their hairstyle and everything, and the type of aircraft that were used. Like Mickey's aircraft is a F-14. That's a 1970s, early 1980s aircraft. So was the Harrier. That's a 1970s, 1980s aircraft. Although in episode 2 or episode 3 there was somebody flying a F-16. I think that was the most modern aircraft that I saw in the OVA animation series. Never saw any MiG-29s. So the sequel to this game was something called Carrier Air Wings. And that was released in 1991. I don't think that was ever released to any home computer or home video game consoles. Never saw it. I wanted to get that game, but I couldn't because they never ported it. What is this, something like a weapons factory? The nation of Aslan didn't have any industries, I don't think. Well, not in the animation series. They did have an oil refinery. Since it was in the Middle East, I think it was an oil producing country. They certainly didn't manufacture any weapons. So in the backdrop of or a little bit of a background of the movie, or the animation series, Aslan isn't really fighting against a foreign invader or anything. They're just, it's kind of like a civil war between family members. So if you ever watch the animation series of this, it's kind of like a family feud. One group of people in the family wanted foreign investment for the country, and the other members did not want Aslan to be saturated with foreign capital. It was basically a civil war. This is Saki. I think he's a part of the royal family in Aslan, and he controls Area 88. And this guy is McCoy. He's the arms merchant in Area 88. I think this is the last level. So the F-20 Tiger Shark was an aircraft that never came into being. It was produced so that poorer countries could have an air force without having the high costs of maintenance for jet aircraft, basically. But it never materialized because the F-16 took the place of the F-20, or the Northrop F-20. And this was based on the F-5 Freedom Fighter. I think it was used during the Vietnam War. It was Used to supply a number of countries, like South Korea, Iran, during the time of the Shah. This along with the F4. I did see F4s in the OVA. But as for this monstrosity, I think this only exists in this game. It didn't exist in the animation series. Purely fictional. For this boss, you just stay right in the middle to avoid getting hit. Just go between the lasers. That's it. That's the end of the game. Very short game. Didn't take a lot of quarters at all. And this is also a fictional ending. Only pertaining to this game. Those Project 4's pilots. Plot was thwarted and peace was brought back to Kuto. If you watch the original animation series, this is not how it ended in the animation series. The ending was a lot sadder than this. It was not a happy ending at all. The way it ended was Shin Kazuma got his wish of wanting to get out of Area 88 because he was tricked into it by escorting the king of Aslan to Paris, and then he was promised to get his freedom after that. And this is the reason why the king fled, was because the government was about to fall. But in the anime series, I think Shin was suffering from PTSD from all the combat that he encountered in Aslan and all the people that he dispatched. So for some reason, I think that was the reason why he went back to Aslan, and the Aslan airfield, Area 88 airfield, fell, and the government of Aslan fell also. It was a pretty sad ending. Okay, let's see. You gotta watch the OVA animation if you want to know it. It's pretty. It was pretty good. If you have any thoughts, you can leave in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Oh, I'm number one.